course. I watched Toonami.
I cannot believe, because like when I was at BlerdCon,
nobody knew about Reboot.
I mean, I'm sure people knew about Reboot. We're getting old. But Leekwood didn't know about Reboot, and then
she didn't watch Toonami.
Leekwood's friend Ted, I thought he would know it, and he didn't know it. And I was trying to tell Ted and Sudeshna, his fiance, about it, and they didn't know Reboot. And I was trying to tell them how I wanted to cosplay Glitch Bob, because with my sister locks, I kind of got the like dread thing.
The newer Bob.
Yeah, where he had that kind of like
I like
and
that
the
show.
silver looking.
I loved Reboot.
I did too.
I love Toonami. I'm still mad you can't find that version of Sailor Moon anywhere, because I wanted my nieces to watch Sailor Moon. And then I saw it on Hulu. I was like, yay! But then I was like watching it, and I was like, what is this? This isn't what I'm. And I was like, the English is off.
Yeah, they did.
It's the wrong.
They like relaunched Sailor Moon.
It's a different dubbing.
But I thought that they also had the old one still.
You can't find the one we watched during Toonami and everything.
Not even on something like Crackle.
You can't find it at all.
Ah.
It's just out of date, out of you literally. There is literal Google things about why I can't find this version of Sailor Moon, because I was like, where's the voice? Where's the Serena? Because they still call her Usagi. They call her Usagi on there. And I was like, who the hell is Usagi? And I didn't know that was her Japanese name, because I had only watched it in English.
I mean, I only watched it in English, but I read so much fan fiction that I just knew everybody's
and
Japanese
I never
name.
was into anime fan fiction. So the only fan fiction I ever read was Harry Potter fan fiction. I just didn't. I probably should.
But I do want to get my little phrase out since we're talking right now.
Oh, okay.
My format is Guardian, to mend and defend. Beep, beep. Reboot.
Okay. I was like, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. Okay. I can't remember all that, but I just remember that I really loved that show, and I was upset that it finished. It wasn't enough.
Yeah, now I gotta see if I can try to find it so I can it would be really nice if they had it streaming somewhere.
Was the brother named Enzo?
Yeah.
I just remember that he got extra hot. I remember I was like,
when he became Matrix.
Yes, I was like, this dude is hot. I was like, he got hot.
I know, you're looking at like these cartoons, but you're like, oh my god, Matrix is like doing it.
I just remember that.
And actually, I mean, Bob was like, he was cute, but when he became Glitch Bob, I was like, okay, Bob, I see you.
But then Matrix came up here, and I'm like, oh my god, Enzo, the little kid was like,
he was really annoying. Yeah, Enzo was always really annoying to me.
He was. His kid version was terrible. It's just like that guy from what's that show called? Game of Thrones.
Oh,
the kid from the Veil. He was so irritating. Breastfeeding with full set of teeth in his mouth. You're just like, why? Like, girl, don't you love your breasts?
And then he just glowed up. There was an actual glow up.
At the end.
Do you watch Sexual Education?
Oh, he's on there apparently.
Yeah.
My sister watches that show. She's trying to get me to watch it.
Yeah, the second season.
I'm gonna have to clue into it because my sister loves it.
It's really good. I really like it.
Have you watched the show Never Have I Ever?
I've watched the first season. I have not gotten around to watching the second season.
Finished the second season. It's the bomb. Sweet. It's even better. I'm down for my little.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the first season though because it's been
main actress, main girl, teen drama. I'm like, I feel like, and my mom, at my age, I'm like, why am I watching these teen dramas still? But I love Never Have I Ever.
It doesn't die.
It doesn't.
It's
so good.
I mean, just sliding into what I'm blurting out right now.
Oh wait, have you started?
Yeah, we've been going for
Yo, you didn't tell me.
4 minutes.
Whitney, you're supposed to clue me in so we can do all what's up? It's your girl. Let me just do it. Hey everybody, it's your girl, Triple F Queen on the Mizike, Bola. And we are, Whitney's here too, of course.
Oh, thank you for that afterthought.
I thought it was so shady. I'm sorry. Let's redo that. Hi, it's your girl Triple F Queen Bola here, and
it's Whitney.
And we are BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney. As you now have heard, we just be talking, y'all. We just be talking. Oh, we just be talking, y'all. We just be talking. So, hello. How y'all doing?
How you doing?
And welcome to our Dragon Month. Okay, this is Dragon Month.
For a second, it sounded like you were about to say Drag Month.
Oh my god! This is our Dragon Month.
I guess we could do RuPaul's Drag Race at some point.
Oh my gosh, how many seasons of that? Because
oh my god,
I've never seen
so
one
many
episode.
Seasons, but it's actually it's a good show though. I've watched maybe 2 seasons of it.
The competition shows, right?
Yeah, competition shows are like on fire. I also so many things to blurt out about. My mom this past week introduced me to this show, Sexy Beast on Netflix. It's like a competition. So there are these people, and they're like, it's like a dating show, but you don't see the other person's face because they've all got these like masks and makeup on.
Oh, I think I heard of it.
But it's like face-off level makeup, so it's really cool. But like,
but creepy at the same time.
No, not really. I don't feel it. I mean, there was one. I mean, okay, so there was one where there was a girl who was like a demon, and it was really good demon makeup. But like, no, overall, it's not creepy, but it's kind of cool because they're like, you know, a lot of time I focus too much on looks, so this forces me to connect purely on personality because I don't know what this person really looks like. So it's kind of cool.
These shows are they're just doing too much for me. I'm like, where can't we just go back to I met you at a party, I like you, we jamming. Now I mean, like, I've got to dress up like a demon.
Well, I feel like, well, based on the premise of the show, like, people had been doing that, but they hadn't been having good luck because they know themselves. So yeah, they're like, I know I focus on the looks.
Honestly, let's be real. Okay, we're gonna have a hot moment, humble,
real talk,
open, and transparent moment. Most of the people that go on these reality shows are the shallow people. Just you never be finding the real good people on these kind of shows. They make sure they vet them. They're hot. They're like inspiring actors, singers, songwriters on the low.
You're right. They are all hot.
I just was like, I'm not gonna lie, but Love Is Blind. I'm not gonna lie. I caved and I watched it because it was pandemic and it was just a bunch of time. I was just at home. I watched it.
Oh, you're talking about the show Love Is Blind. I've never watched it.
I watched Love Is Blind, and I'm not gonna lie, I do love the main couple, the interracial couple. That's the only couple on there that I liked because I felt like the show was so fake. Everything else, I was like, this is like, okay, they have that one evidence for their little social experiment. This one couple really were awesome and cool and legitimate, and they were down to earth. But they were also both very hot. Let's not front. The white guy was hot. The black girl was hot. Cam, everybody knows the couple. They were hot. But I'm just like, I was happy that they like actually got love. Everybody else was fake to me. Everybody else, I just didn't get it. The premise was like, you date, but you're in a box and you only hear each other's voice. And then by the end of it, you pick somebody and you are going to be marrying that person.
Oh, no. I'm like, no, I'm not going to like, fine, I will date them. I will go with the premise of the show, but I'm not going to marry somebody.
They do. Like, they literally, and that was the whole point. Like, there was a wedding done, and the whole point was, were you going to marry that person when you went to the altar? My thing is, decide before you wear the dress. Like, some people got dropped at the altar. It was terrible. Like, 2 couples out of the whole social experiment, only 2 couples really got married.
But I feel like that.
Crazy.
How long did this go on for?
It was several episodes.
No, I mean, like, how long did they know each other before they got married?
Oh, not long at all.
See, no, I don't find that
not
acceptable.
long at all.
I don't think that's acceptable.
It was.
I don't think.
If you watch it, some of it was sad. I was just.
I think you got to get to know somebody. You know, you can't just like shotgun wedding.
And that's what I was saying. And then the problem was when you felt like you met somebody you really liked and know, and then you met that person, you saw what they looked like, and some of the people were disappointed, and they were really faking it for the whole rest of the show. And then they went and did the whole wedding, met their family, and I was like, you knew you were going to say no from the beginning, because as soon as you saw him, you're like, man, I should have went with that guy before you saw that guy. You know what I mean? And I was just like, man. And then one girl, she's like, oh yeah, you're really nice, you're really cute, but then she got her shallow back again, and she was like, I just can't, I'm not that attracted to you. So she went back to being her shallow self, and she said it on the show that she's really shallow, that she always just finds awful guys, but she goes for them because they're hot. And I was like, so who be on these shows? I'm just saying. I'm off my soapbox. Y'all reality TV lovers can go back to it. You won't catch me. You won't catch me. What? I ain't fitting to watch them.
I mean, right. To be honest, I don't really like reality TV, but I do like reality competition.
Yeah, Nailed It. That's not one I like.
Oh my god,
I really like Nailed It.
I love Nicole. Is that her name? Nicole?
Yeah, Nicole Byer. Yeah.
Love her. Love her.
All right, y'all. So today we're gonna be blerding out about stuff. So Whitney, what is your blerd out today?
I am blerding out about, oh my gosh, there's like a lot of stuff, but let me focus on most recent. I already mentioned Sexy Beast, which was really cool. But I am blurting out right now about Masters of the Universe Revelation. I never watched. I never watched He-Man. That wasn't my. I mean, that was before my time anyway. It came out in like 83 to 85, I think.
I think my Birdman. Did you say Birdman?
No, He-Man. You know,
I have,
by the power of Grayskull, I have the power.
I don't know this at
He's
all.
like the really buff dude with the blonde hair.
There's a lot of really buff dudes with blonde hair.
It's a cartoon.
To me, you just said Thor, so I'm just like...
It was a cartoon. Anyway. So, it was this thing like in the 80s.
Why
He-Man.
was he called He-Man?
It was a whole thing. All of these people
The
are
name
like
choice,
right
He-Man.
on the nose.
He-Man.
They
Okay.
came out later, apparently, with, I guess... She-Ra was derivative of like He-Man. She's supposed to
At
be
least
the
it's she and then Ra. But it's like He-Man? Like,
but then
come
you've
on.
got like these really on the nose like names because like I actually really like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. I think it's awesome. I haven't watched all the last 3 seasons though because they put them out pretty quickly in succession. But like all of the names, like you've got Glimmer, who like glimmers.
Okay.
You've got Bo, who uses a bow and arrow, and it's like, I don't understand how. Okay, I understand, like, you know, it's a kid's show, or it was. Like, this one's a little bit more, you know, made for like a little bit older of an audience.
So it's like a superhero show?
Yeah,
Okay.
like fantasy, you know, adventure type thing.
Okay.
But
From the 80s, you said?
it was originally from the 80s, but they redid it.
Oh, okay, so there's a reboot.
So
There's that
Netflix-
word again, y'all.
Netflix rebooted, but it's really good. I never watched whatever the 80s version was. I checked out the He-Man. Well, okay, so the He-Man one is called Masters of the Universe, I believe. And I looked it up on Amazon, and I took a look at just like the preview images, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm just gonna watch this continuation.
So you were trying to go back, and you're like, nah, I can't go back.
I can't go back because I mean, reading articles about it, they're like, I mean, the 80s He-Man, it's basically was just like 30-minute commercials for these toys. They're like basically He-Man, I think they said She-Ra and Transformers were basically, they were all these shows were basically commercials for the toys that they were selling because it's developed by Mattel. Now granted, I love me some Transformers. Robots in disguise.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch that, but I knew about it. And I knew the song.
I loved Transformers. I loved Transformers Beast Wars even more though.
Okay.
But yeah, I was a fan. But so anyway, I never watched He-Man or Masters of the Universe, though I think I saw part of like they made a movie in the 80s with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man.
I think, yeah.
And I think I saw part of that before, but I got distracted yesterday when I was supposed to be continuing to Raya. For some reason, they previewed it to me. After I watched Wish Dragon, they previewed Masters of the Universe Revelation. I was like, you know what? I never watched He-Man. Now I want to go back and watch the He-Man movie because I'm not going to watch the show because I took a look at it and like I said, I saw the animation. I'm like, I can't do this. So I watched the movie and I was like, you know what? I mean, it was the 80s, but it was like, this wasn't bad. So I'm like watching
30 years ago.
watching Masters of the Universe Revelation on Netflix, this new animated show. I was like, you know, this is good. This is pretty good.
Like 40
I'm
years
liking
ago.
it.
Like 40 years. 80s was like 40 years ago.
Girl, don't be saying that.
I'm just saying, we were born in the later part of the 80s, but I'm just saying.
I am not 40 yet.
80s.
Thank you. I'm not 40 yet. Thank you.
We're not even close, because I don't remember my age all the time, but no, we're not going there.
But that's
so you
what
like
I'm
the show,
learning.
huh?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to blurt out about just, I went and traveled this month, and it was a very nice experience. I went for a Naija wedding. Ha ha. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, I'm done. So I went for a Nigerian wedding, and if any of you know, if you probably don't know, please go watch Wedding Party so you can know. Nigerian weddings are like the most lit occasion ever. And then it was a traditional wedding. So Nigerian weddings are always 2 ceremonies. We have the traditional African one that like everybody and their mama come to. Those ones are actually more fun. And then you have the white wedding that's more traditional American Western. Let's say Western style instead of just American, because they have them on other English speaking countries. But the traditional one, everybody comes. You got to wear the clothes. You got to do the whole thing. Watch the ceremony, and then you just turn up and have a good old time. I had the best time ever. Like, it was so good, and it was just, like, nice to go out and be among people and dance. And, y'all, we have this thing in our culture, in Nigerian culture, where we spray money. Basically, we make it rain on the dance floor. So,
oh, snap. Do you guys have, like, the money guns?
You know what? We need one of those. Somebody needs to have one of those.
Like from Mailed It? You guys should get a money gun.
We need a money gun. I'm going to look into it. I'm gonna look into it because at my wedding I want a money gun. I really do, because you honestly, it's just ones. Everybody gets them. You should see stacks and stacks of ones. It's just going around the place, and they just be tossing it.
See,
on the
I would
celebrants.
be the one where if I come to your wedding, I'm gonna bring a money gun. I'm like, nah, ain't nobody got time to be tossing money.
Yes,
I'm gonna
one.
money gun it, y'all.
Please
Money
bring
gun.
the money gun, because I want it so bad at my own personal wedding. But I'm telling you,
You know
when
what?
you travel,
I might step it up for you, money gun and money cannon. Yeah.
there's a money cannon.
I mean, there's a t-shirt cannon, but I'm gonna stick some rolls.
Oh
up
my
in
god!
there. Concussions from the money cannon.
No. It'd be like, yeah, but you all right? Walk it up, and that's $40. That's $40 rolled up. That'll be hilarious and dangerous at the same time.
Which is like me.
You're right. But yo, your girl made $45 on the dance floor in ones.
Now.
I actually had more, but I was spraying people.
Make that
Some of
money,
them.
girl. Don't let it make
Me
you.
and my friend Ashley, who we both were there, we went. I stayed with her in New York. She lives in New York now, and we both came home with like $45. I had 46, but it didn't really matter. And then my cousin's fiance is white, right? So he's like the only white person there, really, almost. And so
You talking about somebody I know?
I don't know. I don't think you met him yet.
Oh, okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but he made like he didn't make more money than the couple because they made the most money.
Mm-hmm.
So like they had a big ass box just to put all their money in.
Oh wow.
Like bags of money. You can honestly at Nigerian wedding, just with the spraying, you can make a couple thousand back off your wedding. I'm not joking. And they had somebody who was picking the money for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you as an individual, if you spray, you can spray somebody else and you can get sprayed as well. So a lot of people don't know that it's not just at your personal wedding you can get sprayed. You can get sprayed at any Nigerian party. Take advantage, y'all. But he was dropping it like first because everyone was waiting to see, can Matthew dance? Can he press it down? Can he? And he did. He shocked everybody. And because people know my cousin and they know him, they're like, they all were like, you better pay attention because this is you, Ned. You're next. I swear, if I had like $5 for every time somebody came up to that boy, I was just like, leave the man alone. Let him like watch. It was hilarious. But when he went on the dance floor, I was like, how you found one that can dance? I told my cousin. But I swear he made like over $100. Because everyone just loved, they didn't even know who he was. They were like, yes, we feeling your vibe. It was great. The food was great. The venue was like luxurious. Everybody's clothes were all sparkly and lovely.
Ooh, sparkle.
I just had a good time at that wedding. And I felt it. And I was like, finally. I was just nice to be like, okay, we're getting there. I know COVID's not gone, but we're getting there. And I also enjoyed my train experience. It was my first time riding Amtrak. Yes.
Oh my god, I love the train. The train is actually my favorite mode of transportation.
It's mad chill. It stopped a lot, but it was mad chill.
But that's the thing about it. You don't have to worry about it because it's going. You don't have to do anything. You can bring your own food on the train.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could buy stuff from the dinner cart, but
don't do it,
your
y'all.
own
Don't
food.
do it.
Yeah.
It's expensive and not good.
Yeah.
Because I know from experience.
Bring your own food. Bring some sandwiches.
Yes.
You got the Wi-Fi. You got your own outlets beside each seat. The train is awesome, y'all. The train is awesome.
My last blurred out thing is over Hot Pot. So me and Whitney, we need a Hot Pot spot in Richmond. Can we just say this? Anybody who's Asian listening to this, I need you to ask Mama, Papa, Grandma, Jajin, whoever, Kung Sao, whatever. I'm sorry, but y'all need to like make a Hot Pot spot. Like Hot Pot is so yummy, awesome, and I can't get enough of it. I literally have dreams about, man, I think of pho and I'm like, nah, it's not enough. Because pho is like my other like really nice brothy dish that I really like.
Love some
and that's
pho.
a Vietnamese dish. But hot pot is on another level, y'all. Y'all need to go to New York and find some. But I really hope we can open up a hot pot spot somewhere in Virginia. And like North Virginia has a very high population of Asians. And I'm surprised none of them started a hot pot spot because they would make bank. They would make bank. So if any of you don't know what a hot pot is, it's basically where you have like a pot of boiling soup. So the table has a heater thing in it that can boil your stew. And then they have, some places have it set up where they bring everything to you and then you put it in and eat it. You order like a tray of raw meat and stuff so that you can cook. The meat is sliced so thin it can cook in the broth, right? Or you can have it where this place that I went to had like a buffet of just all these different things you can put in. You could just pick what you wanted. All these different fish cakes, vegetables, fruit, like all this stuff that you could put in. Not fruit. There was no fruit. That would be weird. That would be weird. There was no fruit. My bad. Foods. That's what I meant to say. Spices, sauces. You name it. It was just a bunch of protein, vegetables, everything just there. You could pack your table, whatever you want, and you just started putting it in little by little. And it was so good. It was amazing. Anyway, my mind was blown. That was the best thing I had when I was in New York. And I understand why people go there for the food. And Blerd Out is done.
All right, y'all. So, as I mentioned in passing, and Bola, I think you mentioned at the beginning, we are doing, oh, by the way, y'all, so we going to do another BlerdTalk double episode drop. Because we've gotten near the end of another month.
Yes, y'all. See, just be mindful. It is the summer months, so stuff is happening.
Trying to coordinate around people's
things
summer
are happening.
Traveling,
yes,
plans and
life
stuff.
issues, traveling plans. We don't even know each other's plans at times, so it's just like we just let the month get away from us. And I was like, dang it. It's like the last week. We need an episode. And we had planned to make this episode our animation episode. Let's say that. Animation month, really. Where we were just discussing 2 animated films this month. I know that was our plan. And it just so happened that they just both happened to feature
it's
dragons.
not animation month, y'all. It's Dragon Month.
Yeah, so it's animated Dragon Month. Dragon Month. I thought we were going.
And actually, okay. I guess it's like Asian month again.
Yeah, it kind of is, because, who does dragons? They're like the only people, so.
I mean, they're not the only people, but who does it better? Nobody.
Yeah. And so today's episode, and, we put episodes out on stuff that is accessible, as much as possible accessible. So for today's episode, we're talking about Wish Dragon. It's streaming now on Netflix, so all you got to do is get yourself a Netflix account or somebody else's account and watch that, because we're going to get into it.
Yeah. Let's talk. Tell me something good.
We sing this song a lot, actually. I was about to get into it, and I was like, we need a new song. But this episode, the animation is called Wish Dragon. And I'm not going to lie, it was just like, let me preface this with saying that I so much so enjoy animated films now. Like, before you would think these are just kids movies, but I literally enjoy watching animated features because they just hit you differently. They're so touching. These are the movies that I easily cry at, and I don't easily cry for nothing.
What? Okay, I didn't cry. You know what? I did tear up for Wish Dragon. Never mind.
Thank you.
I cried more for the other episode we're gonna drop on the same day as this one, but I did tear up.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Both of these movies, I was so touched. I mean, I went with my nieces to watch Boss Baby 2, Family Business. That was freaking awesome. 1, it was hilarious. 2, I did tear up. And I was like, why am I the only one crying? My nieces, they're 9 and 6, and they were like, Auntie, you laughed more than we did. I was like, damn. I was like, did you see?
I don't even be fronting about stuff. When I show, I tried to show my nephews a Goofy movie the other day. And I was like all into it.
Such a good. They weren't.
And my sister-in-law was like, "Is this for Auntie or is this for y'all?" I was like, "Yeah, it's definitely for all."
I know, right? I tried to make on Saturday. My nieces, I made them watch The Sound of Music. I had to force them to watch it. Yes, with the sound of music. Oh, with the songs they have sung for 1,000 years. Oh, let's not. Sorry for y'all's ears. I'm off my game because of my cold, but
I'm never on my game. That's just my regular singing voice. So.
I be trying to hit notes though, because Whitney know I can hit notes. But I love The Sound of Music because I love musicals. Like,
oh yeah, I love musicals.
At my heart of heart, I made them watch Anastasia. I made them watch Sound of Music. I made them watch
Painted Wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December That tells you how much of a fan I am, y'all. I know these songs.
Let's give it up for Whitney's solo performance.
Thank you. But I mean, that's the power of like our childhood, like our Disney childhood, and even like, well, Anastasia was not a Disney princess. Technically, she is now because she's Fox and Disney bought Fox, so technically she could be a Disney princess.
They should just put her on the list because I always pictured her like a princess. Like every time I think of her, and she's like my top list. And when they ask, who's your favorite Disney princess, I always have to just go with Mulan because that was my favorite among the movies that they made. But I really wanted to say Anastasia because I watched a mess out of my VHS. I love, and I still love Anastasia. My nieces loved Anastasia.
I love Anastasia.
Sound of Music, I had to force them to watch a little bit.
Have you ever seen Thumbelina? Now they've made a few ones.
No, that's one of the ones I've never watched that.
Okay, because they've made a couple, maybe more than two. But the one that I like is by, I think it's like Blum. He's like a well-known animator. Are you talking about
animated version of Thumbelina?
Yeah. It's the one that has the song.
The old one, right?
Yeah.
I just never watched it, so I don't know the
song. From around the same time probably is like Anastasia. Maybe it was a little bit earlier, but it was like, I love it because there's this one song in there, Let Me Be Your Wings. Oh, I love it. And then at the very end of the film, I always like tear up.
I did not hear none of that. It wasn't audible. Luckily, she didn't spoil the movie, so we're going to watch Thumbelina, y'all, later on, and then just maybe reminisce. We'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
But yes, I just have to give it up for the, like, a lot of really wonderful animated movies have been coming out, and I'm like,
and
Frozen,
series,
Soul.
Actually. I mean, I haven't been watching as many, but like, you know, with me watching Masters of the Universe, and then last year with me watching She-Ra, I just need to go back and watch the rest of it. But like, animated series are like really doing some stuff too.
Even Marvel, the next Marvel series that's going to be on Disney Plus is going to be animated, and it's going to be called What If. And all the original people that were the actors actually do the voiceover work for this series. So basically, they're gonna get like they're gonna just see the whole premise is, what if this happens? And they're just gonna do it, and we're gonna see it, and it's gonna be completely animated. And I'm like, no, I'm here for this. Loki ended. I have my thoughts on Loki series. I'm not gonna mention
that yet. I need to watch Loki.
We're not gonna talk about it, but it's not my favorites. It's not my favorites.
Okay,
but it's not bad.
Okay.
But it's definitely not my favorite.
But I still haven't seen Black Widow.
Me too. Let's not deviate from the animated.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
yeah,
so
we got easily distracted.
Some animated films that we watched recently that are really good. Okay, I'm gonna mention Soul was pretty good to me. What about
Soul
you?
was good, but oh my god, Onward! I was like full on tears, you guys. Like Onward, and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, I cried the most at Frozen 2. Just the end with Elsa's whole little show yourself. The whole like when she realized the person she was looking for was herself. I was like, Disney, how y'all do this to me again and again? Just the sentiment. I'm always in awe of how they can brilliantly and like accessibly get these concepts.
They do.
They relate them to the kids in a digestible form that the kids can understand and get. And it's entertaining, but they can really get the message out of it.
And they can do it for adults too. This is why Disney is Disney. Like,
amazing.
Other people try to imitate them, and they can't. Like, because they think that it's just about, let's throw some good animation up there. That's not what makes it so awesome. It's the story and the characters. Disney knows how to do it with these characters and these stories. It's not just the animation, even though it's wonderful, but they know how to pull it all, and the music.
Yeah, my gosh, Moana.
Oh my god, Moana. I know
welcome.
She's not exactly technically a princess, but I guess if you call her a chieftain's daughter, she's kind of like the other version of a princess. She's probably my favorite Disney princess.
Now?
Yeah.
Moana's pretty cool. I really liked it. So, it's just, I'm not gonna lie, I'm down for an animated movie anytime. I really am, because I'm just like, yeah. That's why I didn't mind watching Boss Baby 2, because I liked Boss Baby 1. I thought it was very interesting.
I actually have not seen Boss Baby.
You should watch it. It's hilarious. But Boss Baby 2, oh my gosh. I will watch that mess again right now. It was so interesting and so heartwarming. It was definitely a family movie. I love it. So please go watch that too. But today we're talking about Wish Dragon. Now, I don't know who did Wish Dragon. I don't know if it was DreamWorks or who's behind that. Do you know?
Sony. Because I do remember. I remember when I was watching it, since it was yesterday. That
you give yourself away.
That I saw the Sony thing come up there, because I do remember seeing that. And I thought it was cool.
I'm not gonna lie, my first impressions, I thought when I saw this movie, I was like, when I was as it was going, I was like, 3 wishes, a dragon, and a teapot. I was getting like there was fighting as well, kung fu. I was getting like Mulan meets Aladdin.
Oh my
God. That's what I was getting.
I didn't get the Mulan vibes as much, but I got so much Aladdin vibes. I got so much Aladdin vibes. It
was very Aladdin-ish.
And to be honest, when we get to what we're going to give the rating for it, I deducted a little bit because of how derivative I felt it was in some aspects.
Well, you know what's so interesting? Maybe this will change your mind. So I wanted to look up some information because I was like, I had no idea who wrote the story, who did anything, and I was really trying to find that out on my way here. Which isn't great because you're driving and trying to scroll through YouTube at the same time.
Please don't.
Well, not at the same time. I was just trying to check another video because I was like, oh, that one was short. I need another one to watch so I can listen. So I was listening to... I think his name is John Cho. Damn.
Are you talking about the one who's going to play Spike Spiegel?
Yes, I think it's John Cho. Thank you. So I listened to John Cho talk about it because I wanted to know where the story came from because I was getting very much like Aladdin vibes because, you know, the dragon was so animated and stuff, so I just thought of Mulan all the time.
Yeah, he reminded me
of like Mushu
actually,
so much.
Actually, he gave me more of the genie vibes.
It was both to me. Like, to me, he was like Mushu mixed with genie together. And I was actually getting a lot of like the Aladdin, the live action vibes too, without the music, of course. I don't know why. It was just a lot of stuff was playing in my head while I was watching it. But I got the story. I understood what it was about. I was like, I really like this, but I wanted to know where it came from. And so, because I was just like, did they just want to make an Asian version of Aladdin? You know, like I was like, that's what I was
the vibes I was getting. Yeah,
it's very heavy on Aladdin.
Yeah,
it really is. I don't know why. I was thinking about Mulan too, but mostly because of Mushu. But my thing was, I went and listened to him talk about this, and he said, so the story actually is based off of Chinese folklore that is exactly like this, about a young man who gets this teapot, and a genie dragon comes out and grants him 3 wishes, and then he falls in love with a princess or something. So this story is actually ancient. It's like really old. It's been apparently redone all the time in Asia, but we don't know about it. I've never heard anything about this being one of their folklore stories, and I actually like that because I love basing things off folklore. And they modernized it up into the new world, so it was like really nice to hear that it came from somewhere.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, so China has this kind of story too, like a genie story.
Yeah,
and of course it has to have a dragon and a teapot in it. But I like that. That's the origin stories. It came from somewhere.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So that was a cool find.
That is pretty cool. I was like, when it like first opened up. I mean, not the initial scene at the gates and whatnot, but like the next scene where they're like in school and he's like drawing his dragon and stuff and they're like learning the characters. That actually had me a little bit confused on where it was taking place. Like what the setting was. Because I'm like, is he like, I don't know, in like a Chinatown type place in like a westernized country? Because it looked as if they were learning the characters based off of English as opposed to, you know, learning English based off
the language being in English probably messed you up.
Yeah.
Because I automatically knew they were in China because I watch a lot of Asian dramas and I know that's the paper they use to learn how to
And
write.
you probably are
Kids
more
don't
familiar with like the background because like I know that there was a very distinctive architectural building, but I didn't know.
If you watch a lot of Asian dramas,
Okay.
like even their modern day, you know that the modern day Asian countries, like that's just how they're set up. So to me, I was already like, they're in China.
Okay.
And they were in modern day China, which I liked.
That was cool, but that was just like one question I had.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure because I was like, Din, I couldn't tell. I was like, Din, is that a Chinese name? Because his name is just Din. And I was like, is that a Chinese? But I knew where they were going. And he's like, hot dumpling soup. I'm like, a lot of Asian cultures have dumpling soup. But then when they started doing the drawing, and then I was like, okay, they're in China. I just wanted to make sure. Because like, this could be Vietnam. This could be Thailand. This could be Korea, honestly. So I just liked, I like that they set up the premise already about this being a story about friendship. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that they kept it there. It seemed like they were trying to hint to a romance, but they didn't really. It wasn't like they didn't really like hit for it. You know what I mean?
It wasn't like Aladdin,
where you know you
that
try to
thing
end up
where
with the
you
romance.
knew that he was like attracted to her. This was like really
This is
I
like,
want
I
my
want my
friend
friend
back.
back. That was the line from the movie that really hit me.
I do really like that. I like the fact that it wasn't just like romance. It's like, I want
gotta
my
get the
friend.
girl, gotta get the girl.
Yeah.
And I like that he was like, so the main premise of the story, y'all, just in case y'all haven't watched, spoilers, by the way.
You guys know
watch.
to never listen to one of our episodes if you haven't seen it because it's full of spoilers. Unless you just don't mind spoilers, because sometimes maybe you like our spoilerific synopsises.
We ain't gonna spoil it. We ain't gonna spoil it. Go and watch it. Don't overboil it. No, I'm sorry, my songwriting skills did not go well. How can you overboil it? Anyway, we just gonna spoil it, just so y'all know. Anyway,
y'all know what's going on.
So the premise of the story is that you have two friends, Din and Lena, and they grew up together in like one of like, I want to say just like a regular, I don't know.
I guess a Chinese version of the ghetto.
Probably so, or just like the lower class establishments
projects.
Well, you have a lot of people on top of each other.
Not
so.
ghetto, because I know ghetto denotes like one
blackness. I know.
No. Actually, ghetto is referring usually to one like ethnicity in one spot. But since China is pretty homogenous as far as racial makeup anyway, probably projects might be a better word.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they both grew up in a prefecture. That's what they call those kind of places. And they weren't very rich or affluent or anything. And so a young boy named Din meets Lena in school, and they both get together because they both were sent out of their classroom because instead of drawing the character for Dragon, or was it Earth? I think it was Earth. Whichever one it was.
I think it was.
No, it was Dragon because they ended up. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I don't know why I thought Earth. Probably because of the other movie. Anyway, they both ended up drawing a dragon instead, and they got sent out of class, and they were like, everyone was laughing at Din, and Din was like, nah, and then he met someone who was like him, and he's just a girl, and they were instantly friends, and she like stood up for him, and they just became so tight, cool.
And I love that fact. It's a little bit up-like, because like it's the girl who was like, it's like, no, don't you mess with him.
Yeah. She was great. I love a sassy, like fierce girl. I really do love them. And then the boy's like, she's protecting me. So they grow up and be friends and everything. But on the other side, you have Lena, who's raised by a single dad, who has big aspirations of making money and doing business, and his business eventually takes off, and much to Din's heartbreak,
she moves away.
Chagrin, she has to move away.
You know the really thing that got me about the part where they're moving away when they get in the car? I thought it was kind of like not really cool. The dad, like, don't look back.
I know.
Like, she's like freaking 8. And
but that's how they are.
And
you
that's
don't
her
know.
friend. Don't look back at my only friend or my best friend.
Whitney don't know. Other cultures are very blunt. Like, to me, I'm like, I already know. He's like, nah, we're done with this. This is not where we want to be. We're done. Don't you look back. You ain't coming back here. You don't know nobody over here.
Okay, fine. But, like, what about my friend, though, dude? What about my friend? It's like, don't look back at him. Don't you look back at him.
That's the whole thing. Girl, you need to watch more Korean dramas. Like, when you leave the ghetto, they like, no, you leave everybody behind. Everyone, person, everything. You don't look back. Because you are on another level. I told you, Asian cultures are very classist. So when you're moving up the class level, you got to leave everybody that's down below you down there. You don't bring them up with you. Which is why when Din grew up and you see him, what he's doing, he does go to school and college and stuff, but he misses his friend so much. And she went on to become this glamorous model, beautiful model. And then it was so touching and kind of sad that he still remembers her. And he would literally climb up on all these houses and go to her billboard
to talk to her.
Because in Asia they have all these beautiful, bright billboards, kind of like Times Square.
Yeah.
We don't have them here in Richmond, but in those kind of cities they have all those lit up ones. And he just goes there and like has like lunch or dinner or whatever, just have a meeting with her. And I thought it was so cute and like kind of sad.
And I was like, cute and sad. Yeah,
because I was like, oh, he miss her so much. I was like, he's grown now. It's like been like 10 years. You're like, he grown now. He's still doing it. But he missed her so much, and he did that. And this time, he just wants to go to her birthday party because he knows that she's there. But he's so afraid that she won't remember him because he never leaves the ghetto. he stays there, and like, you know, what he does for her job, he basically delivers dumpling soup everywhere. He's like, yo, who got this? He was really good with that thing, because I was like, I'm sure I would have crashed. And it was, so the premise starts, and he just happens upon a teacup.
He doesn't happen upon it.
Well,
he's making a delivery.
He made a delivery.
And the
I guess
gives him.
What was that guy called? The mind or the dragon? No, not the dragon.
No, it was the god. I don't know what the god's name was, but he was a god.
The god chose him, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're the perfect one to have this. So he orders, and what I can't understand was that the god was just sitting on some plywood. It looked like somebody blew his house out completely, and it was just like the floor and a chair was left. And then he opens the door, and he's like, you're creepy. And I'm like, I love Din's reaction, because Din's like, I need to get out of here right now. And the god's like, take my teapot. He's like, I really don't want to. But then that starts his whole adventure where he, you know, I think he touches or rubs it, and then Genie comes out, Long, who's one of my favorite characters in the whole show. I really like Long.
He's not actually a genie, you guys. He's a dragon. See?
Damn.
That's how much it's similar to Aladdin.
Okay, my bad, y'all. Not a lamp this time. We have a teapot, and the dragon comes out. His name is Long. And he grants him wishes. So then a whole bunch of things ensue. So that's the premise of the show, y'all. But
I would like to comment on a moment that I thought was pretty funny near the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're friends, when they're young, for a short period, they also have, I'm going to say, quote unquote, friend that was a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Named Clucky. And when Clucky died, like, they buried Clucky in, like, the backyard or whatever.
They're also eating Clucky, too.
They're eating drumsticks. And at first, I thought they were just eating just regular drumsticks. But then you find out later in the movie, it was actually Clucky.
That was Clucky. Because Mom was like, you know what? We need some chicken. We don't got none, so Clucky's got to die.
No. It was Lena's idea, remember? Near the end.
To eat Clucky?
Yeah. But I just thought it was hilarious. I thought it was just, you know, because
it was funny. Hilarious.
It was a chicken's funeral, but they're eating chicken, and and I'm thinking in my head, okay, it's just a random chicken, and you find out, no, that was the actual chicken. They ate the chicken.
That mess made me laugh so bad because I was like, yes. And I remember as a kid, I always
love like how. That just shows, like, Lena, you are practical. She was like, does that like some good drumsticks go to waste?
I know. And I remember that was one of my things, too. What I was going to say was that I remember, like, I wanted a pet, but not like a furry pet, because I was afraid of dogs, and my mom, I didn't like cats, and I knew my mom hated, like, hairy animals. So I wanted a fish, and my issue was, I remember telling my sister, I was like, we can get a fish, right? But then I was like, oh no, we can't get a fish. And my sister was like, why can't we have a fish? Because when mommy gets angry with us, you know how much mommy loves fish, right? It's going to be in her frying pan. I remember saying it to my sister. I was like, this is why we can't have a fish, because my mom can annihilate a fish. Like a whole one, she'll eat the head to the tail. Y'all don't understand how Africans do. They're not afraid of no bones. They swallow that mess and be like, keep going. But I was so afraid. I was like, if we get a fish and we get mommy, we make mom angry, she's going to eat our fish. That's what
Oh my gosh.
So it made me think of that. I swear I had an instant connection to my childhood self, thinking, I want a fish, but my mom's going to eat it and get in trouble. So them eating that chicken made me laugh like crazy. Because it's just the irony of it. Like, really? I love all the images of the childhood life. It was like they were raised like brother and sister almost.
Yeah.
She like was lonely because her dad was always working, was by himself, and like she had family community with them, and she could just be a regular person. She talked about how, you know, getting food from the lady that just sold roasted sweet potatoes. And
oh my gosh, she was hilarious
and everything.
She's like, do you remember you go buy something or not?
I know, right? She's like, I just want my money.
She's like, now get out the way.
Money.
You block another customer.
My money. I love how the dragon, because he's invisible, she just took one and she was like, hey. And he was like, you ain't gonna see it. You ain't gonna miss it. But it's funny enough because I understood Din I felt bad for Din because he did all that driving and all that working just to get like a threadbare suit that like unraveled so quickly.
Oh yeah.
So quickly. And I was just like, why, Din? Why? The suit is so bad.
I can't remember the exact name, but I love the name of the shop. Because he first went to like the swanky shop.
And he couldn't afford it.
They couldn't afford it. So then you see him at this other shop. It's like, no money suits.
And it wasn't a great one, too. I was like, the color's not your color.
I mean, I didn't think it was bad if it would have stayed
It looked
together.
like it was like, yeah. I was like, it literally unraveled on him. You're just like, what? It dissolved to nothing. I was like, damn. All his money went into a suit just to go to that birthday party, because the Asians are like kind of like Africans. You have to dress to impress. If you on that class level, you have to look the part. Well, Africans just be dressing no matter what. Our thing is, you don't look like your problem. Always dress to impress. You go out, put yourself together. Even when you have no money, put whatever you have together. But for them, Asian cultures, you have to, like, all of us saw Crazy Rich Asians, so you know how they are. If you're in that chaebol class, I say chaebol because that's the Korean word for the heirs and the inheritors, because in that part of Asia, well, most of them, if your family has a company that's really rich or multi-million-dollar whatever, it's like automatic that you're like some nepotism happens. Where instead of, the next person, we're going to deliberate together on who's going to be the next CEO. No, your son is taking over the company. And so they raise them to be like little mini heads of it, whatever. And they just, cause a lot of stuff. There's a show on Netflix called Inheritors. Just watch it because you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a Korean drama, but you'll see exactly the issue when somebody from a no class comes into their little world and just throws everything off. But so he knew he couldn't. He called them in China. I guess they call them the little princes, which because they kind of are. They're kind of like little princes.
I thought he said princeling.
Princeling. That's a better word. Yes, princeling. I actually like that word better.
It's an interesting word. You don't really hear it.
It's kind of like changeling or something. It's like a little. It's like it basically means little prince or something, and that's how they're kind of treated. You're the one taking over the company. You have to do this. You have to do that.
And it's interesting because the difference in meaning, because like he asks Long to be a princeling, and Long misunderstands it, so he makes him like this,
like the old school like, because Long is from
Chinese,
because Long is from ancient China, and then we find out later on his story. So he's got
like this traditional 1,000 years ago.
I know the
silks
and everything in the head.
And he's like, you said you wanted to be a prince. He's like, no, princeling.
I loved him not knowing what time period it was, so like everything was throwing him off. He's like, what is this big rock thing in this? It's a bus. That's a light. And he was like, all this stuff was like blowing his mind, and he's like, what century is this? That part I loved, because it's like, dang, nobody touched the pot in that long. Anyway, but I understood why he wanted to dress, and that was his first wish, because he's like, I need to get into the party. If I don't look like I belong there, no one will think I belong there. Will be like, hey, go serve the food. So I totally got him. He had to dress the part, and I love that little blue suit with the brown shoes. It's my favorite combination on men.
I do love the blue suit with the brown shoes. That's so.
It was beautiful.
That shade of brown, that particular shade of brown,
yes,
with
the
like
cognac,
the
cognac brown. They call it a cognac brown.
Okay,
I know because there's some shoes in my bag. It's called cognac brown.
Nice. But can I say I loved whoever the older lady was that was like making moves on Long.
When he turned into a human.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
She's like, I'm coming to get you. And I was like, what happened to her? Oh man. But this movie had so many wonderful, hilarious moments, like when Long was like trying to escape the woman, so he went to the bathroom and then he was trying to splash water on his face. Found out it was the toilet water. Oh god. I was like, gross. But just so many wonderful moments like that. And then the lessons that had to be learned as well. Like, I liked how, let's talk about Din's character. Din's character, he was so very much a true of heart kind of person.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and I think the God actually said that to him when he gave him the teapot. Like, you are pure of heart.
That's the word I'm looking for. Pure of heart. He was such a pure of heart, real, down-to-earth person. He wasn't like
and really idealistic.
Lofty.
He's like, she's not going to care about the fact. And then I just like felt I was a little mad at Lena when she was like, we're really different. I can't hang out with you. I'm like,
but you hung out with him the whole day.
I'm like, you so professional. Something. And then I thought to myself, but I'm like, but it's a different culture. It's like Western culture was so individualistic, and they're so family, and you know.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some people that are like that. Trying those Melrose Place or whatever is popping Hollywood people. I'm sure you can find some people like that. Like, oh, you got to be in with the in crowd. You know, you got to be on that level.
I'm saying the fact that she wasn't like that, but she still said we can't hang out to him
because she knew,
because of her wanting to make sure that her dad got the kind of status and whatnot she was.
And it's
she
because
was more
the expectation.
focused.
She knew, because when they're in those positions, she knows that there's so many expectations of things that she has to look the part always. So, and they're really, like I said, in Asian cultures, because they're collectivistic, they're very self-sacrificial.
Yes.
So anything they want has to be second. Anything they
why,
desire as an individual has to be second.
And that's why I kind of mushed my initial thing of, you superficial, you were hanging out with him, and now I was like, okay, no, this is a different culture. She's got different, it's different.
It's very different. So I understood, like, despite she
and
wanted
then the fact
she
that
couldn't.
I realized that just made it sadder.
Because I was fine with Lena because I knew it's not what she wanted.
Right.
But I knew it's like something she had to do.
Yeah.
So she understood. She's like, man, we can't be more than this. I'm supporting the family. I'm doing this and doing that, I'm making my own, making my own business and everything.
And it was just so sad too. Like at her own birthday party, her dad's not there. She's got a list of people that her dad wants her to like greet.
Yeah, the whole hugging, like dancing with people for 2 seconds and then turning. I was mad. I was like, somebody save the child.
And then the fact that she was like given this list by her dad, I'm like,
she had a birthday present fort that she hid in and cried. I was like, the present she got made a little fort that she could hide in and cry. I was like, oh no. It was sad. And okay, so my other thing was that Dad's business took off, but then Dad was making some shady deals apparently or something because her dad, the business wasn't doing so well. And I thought it was interesting that these people knew about, her dad knew about the cup. So like immediately, not the cup, the teapot. So immediately when Dean gets the teapot, people are after it already. Like, already. We meet these henchmen. Oh my god, the legs. Okay, I'm going to take a second.
What? Why?
Okay, so this is, again, because you don't watch enough Asian drama. When you see Asian dramas and fight, a lot of times, like, especially like the street thugs, a lot of times if they're the boss one or they're like the ones that's like controlling a little gang, it's just the thing they do, that they just take your foot and they would just like take their leg and lift it high and just kick you down, slap you down. Like they use their legs a lot. And so I got it immediately. That's why I found it so funny that he was just fighting with his legs. One of the bald henchmen. Like you would just see him in the shot and then his leg would be doing stuff.
Because you watch more of the films and stuff. Because I was just like, why? Why with this leg thing?
It was hilarious to me because I was like, I totally get it. Because I watched Asian dramas where the guy is just like kicking people down without moving the rest of his body. But I liked it because they took it and they turned it up to like a ridiculous amount. Like it's so hyperbolic what happens with this guy. Like again, you could just see a disembodied leg doing stuff. And it's hilarious. Oh my god. And then I like that because you could tell whoever wrote the script for this, they're like, yes, Asian culture. We get it. Mulan remake. Could have done with some pointers there. Anyway,
yeah, they could have from both.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so that was one of the hilarious points. But I liked Din's character. He stayed pure of heart throughout the whole film, and he really was so concerned about his friend and Lena. Like he just loved Lena, and it was just like, I don't know if they will eventually end up being romantic. I feel
like by the end they were pushing that. He was like, "Let's go on a date." I'm like, I feel like this was like a date rather than. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It stayed on the line, but it was more so platonic to me what I was seeing. But maybe in the future it might. Like, if they had, like, to put more time into it. But I just think the friendship was more the focus. And I like that.
I like that, too.
I like that.
I do really like that.
A guy and a girl, y'all can be, like, the tightest of friends and then not always have to be about somebody getting some D. You know what I'm saying? Somebody getting it in. Somebody marrying somebody. Can't you just be my friend? Can we keep each other company? You don't know that song?
I don't know this one.
It's Justin Bieber off that Purpose album. Not the one I let you listen to in the car that you didn't like. His earlier one that was fire. But I just like that their friendship was the main like drive for him. Like I like that his wishes were not selfish. He only wanted to improve himself so he could get into the party and meet her. Yeah. And he only wanted to fight to help to defend his life, you know?
You know what? Another thing that I just thought about, I love the fact that he's like, I want you to make me a princeling for 24 hours. And Long's like, you know, this is a wish. Like, you could have it forever. He's like, no, I just need it for the 24 hours. Like, dude, really? Only 24 hours?
Exactly.
You don't want to have like this money thing like for the rest of your life. He's like, no, 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Because he was like, I just need to get in. And because he had this whole wish. I don't know if it was just his idealism, but he's like, no, my friend's going to remember me. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad because it was like, I almost thought she didn't. Because watching the scene, you're just like, why didn't she say anything? I'm like, y'all don't look that different. You know what I mean? They look the same. I know it's animation, but it's like, you kind of remember like, oh. But I was like, y'all kind of look the same. I really thought, y'all are talking in this bathroom while she's or whatever room it was. And I was like, you really don't remember? Because I think his name is Din, but he said his name was like Jin or something else.
Dan,
yeah. He said his name was Dan. And I was like, really, Din? But like one letter off. Like, really? And then I was like, Lena, you really don't know this is Din? He said his name was Dan. Like, come on. But I guess because she wouldn't imagine that Din would become something like that, you know?
Didn't imagine this level of come up.
Yes, and I even like that even though the dragon, Mr. Long, was trying to show him how to be a spoiled, rotten kind of guy, that he just, it didn't suit him. And he saw himself losing the girl because she was like, you know what? You're not cool. I thought you were, but you're like all these other people up here. And then he was like, I'm going to cut this act because it's not working. Yeah. And I love that he trimmed it quick because it was pissing me off. I was like, Din, you're not a jerk. Stop acting like one.
It was. Oh, man. And Long's like backstory.
Yeah, let's talk about Long.
Yeah. Like the fact when you go into his backstory and he's like, I was an emperor. And he's like, well, why don't I know you? He was like, well... He was like, I was all about gold and expanding my empire. I was brought up like an emperor to be rich and royal. And I had my daughters and I sent them off to expand my kingdom. And you see like the tear going down. And I love like the change in like kind of animation styles they did during the movie to like to show different stories. I love that. And then they were like, he was like, and I sent my son off to go and conquer. He was like, he came back a hero, and you see him come back on a stretcher because he's dead, and you're like, oh man, and it's just like all this stuff, like all these ashes, and he's like, and then on my deathbed, he was like, no one was there.
Because he's all about greed. He was all about that, like, being a jerk, being selfish, being so self-absorbed, treating other people like crap. That's why I was so mad when Long was training him on how to be a jerk, and you're just like, okay, you've been a lot. And I loved how Din kind of humbled him, because he was like, you think money is the best thing in the world? He's like, you've been a genie for this, Lord, you've been a dragon genie for this long. And he's like, that's what you learned? And Din was like, man, I feel sorry for you. I love that. I love that he had to watch when Lena came over to as I guess young adult, when she came over and revisited their prefecture and everything in their area, their little neighborhood. She saw how everybody was. She was like, wow, I'm missing this family, because they just all were surrounded by each other, all helping, all eating together, and it was comforting and loving. Yeah. And even he was looking at it like, wow. He was looking at the window, observing all this, and he's like, wow, this is different. And I liked it.
And I love how, like you said, pure-hearted Din was, because then as Long's like looking in, he was like, come in. Like, dude, you don't have to be out there looking in. Come in and be with the rest of us.
It was great. And I love the lessons that I felt like this was Long's movie to learn a lesson, actually. But you would think the main kid was going to learn the lesson. It was really like Long had to learn this lesson, because at the end of it, when the henchmen are trying to get him and they're trying to get the teapot back, and everything happens where it blows up in their face, and the dad comes and the dad dies, and then Din just gives up his last wish.
I don't think he died. I think he was about to die.
No, he died. That was the problem.
But I thought that Long had similar rules as like the genie from Aladdin, where he couldn't bring people back from the dead.
No, that wasn't one of them. He couldn't like make people fall in love with him. He couldn't.
I thought one of them had to do with like death.
Oof. Yeah, I'm forgetting now. I watched mine so long ago. She just watched hers recently, so she may be right.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know that. I don't think maybe that he was dead. I think he was gonna be dead if it had been any longer, much longer. But I don't.
Okay, let's go for that, because I can't remember. I thought he was dead, but I guess to preserve his life, because he just had a stab wound and he was on the ground. I think he fell down too, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he fell.
He fell from like a far
really
distance.
high, like floors up, multiple.
Yeah,
floors.
and I was mad at him because I was like, "Yo, this is a kid. You you were seeing him when he was a kid.
I mean, yeah,
And
but
you
he
just-
was like, he told them not to hurt him, but like these are like thugs. They're like,
They don't care. They're like, you want us to accomplish a job or not? So if somebody gotta get hurt, that's what's gonna happen. So I was like, why are you using these thugs to do this? And I was just mad at Lena's dad. I was like, Lena's dad, you need to learn a lesson too.
Yeah.
But I love that at the end of the day, Long learned the lesson that he even gave up his opportunity to, So the whole thing was that Din was Long's last master so that he could finally move on to the afterlife.
Yep, he had to grant 3 wishes to 10,
10 masters.
10 masters.
And so he's been alive for centuries, and he was finally on his 10th one, and he was there, and I think he granted Din's last wish, right?
Well, the father
was Din's last wish.
Yeah.
But then Din, okay, so he wanted to grant the wish, but then he went to the god, and he was like, yeah, you can't do that. You need to just come up now.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm waiting for my parade when I get back to the gates of heaven. And there was the actual parade. You can see
and you could hear it, but he was like, I'm going to go back and be in another... I think he had to serve another 10 masters again. Yeah. But he went back so that he could save Lena's dad. And that was amazing. Then he became a master. He became a genie dragon again. I'm going to call it a genie dragon, okay? Because
wish dragon.
He wasn't... Okay, fine. Let's call him a wish dragon. So the name of the movie. You're right. Wish dragon. Although now genie dragon sounds better, but I know why they wouldn't call it genie dragon. So am I getting it right? Right? We agree on the same page. That's what happened. So he
has to serve another 10 masters.
Mm-hmm.
But remember earlier in the movie, he was like, I feel like I didn't really teach them anything. He was saying to Din, he was like, I granted these 3 wishes, and sometimes they would ask about what should I wish for and stuff like that. And he was like, always wish for a pile of money, pile of gold, pile of gold.
And he kept pushing it on him. So he's like, I want to be done with this. Instead of thinking about the impact he could have.
Yeah, and then at the end he's like, you've got to serve another 10 masters. He's like, no, it's fine. He's like, I feel like I have something to offer them now.
And my favorite part, so I love the lesson that happened, and I love that Lena's dad's business was just dumped and was in the ground. Like they loan sharks were literally coming to repo and pack up all the furniture, and Lena didn't know what was going on. She was like, what, Dad? We broke. But I love that Dad came back and decided to incorporate his like pseudo family, because they were like a pseudo family to him, and he just forgot about them and was like, y'all are that. But then he decided to come back and make this business selling Din's mom's soup. Din's mom was amazing. Shout out to Constance Wu, who does the voiceover work for Din's mom. She was hilarious. I love it. Constance Wu was the main girl from Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah, so you can hear that voice. And she's also on the show
Fresh Off the Boat,
yeah. And Hustlers, if you watched that. I didn't, but if you watched it.
I have not seen it yet, though I did want to see that, though.
I kind of wanted to see it, too. Just because I liked that it was a true story, that these strippers were, like, getting all this money.
I did not know that it was based off of a true story.
Yes, it was. These ladies, I think they went to jail, though. Anyway, sidebar. We're still talking about Dragon Animated Summer. All right, so, Whitney, what did you think of that ending for Wish Dragon?
I thought it was a really good ending. I appreciated the fact that it wasn't just like... oh, you were pure of heart. I mean, because you were, made a selfish thing, that's why you got up here to heaven. But he was like, oh, that's not how it works, dude. So it's like, you really do need to go serve another 10 masters. That's the only way you're going back down there. I like the fact that it wasn't just like, oh, because your request was pure of heart.
I know, yeah. Like, you're like, we got rules, bitch.
No, dude, you're going to have to go.
My bad. They're like, we got rules.
So yeah, I like that. But I also like the fact of how Long handled it, and how Din and Long were about it, because Long was like, I feel like I have something to offer them this time around. I mean, each time he was granting these 3 wishes, but he didn't feel like he actually gave them anything.
They all kind of received so much, and not to mention, I love that the guy with the legs, he wished to turn to gold. and then he touched himself and turned himself to gold, and then fell into the river. I was like, amazing.
And then got smashed into pieces too.
Yes, it was hilarious.
I was like, oh snap!
And I love because one henchman was big, and then one henchman was so tiny. He asked for legs, and he got him.
He asked for longer legs.
Longer legs, my bad. Longer legs. It was hilarious.
And then the big henchman asked for like enough puppies to open a pet store.
They're always talking about how the big ones are always the softies. Oh my god! I love the family coming together to make a dumpling shop, a soup shop, and like everybody's together doing stuff. It was amazing.
I also love the fact that like Lena's father apparently had her like doing like the modeling and stuff, because I don't feel like she had her heart into it in it, but it's like, well, I'm pretty, so I guess this is just what they had me doing. But then at the end of the movie, she's like the business person. She's on the phone like, no, you better get these stuff here now. Like,
Lena was always a firecracker.
Yeah.
She was great.
And I love that. It's like, yeah, this is what she should be doing. This is like, yeah. So I thought that was cool.
So all over, what do you rate the movie?
I was like waffling on it quite a bit, like between 6.5, well, 6 glasses and a monocle, or 7 glasses. I'm gonna, because of what you said about the fact that, you know, it's not actually like super derivative of Aladdin, they like actually have their own, I'm gonna give it 7 glasses.
7 glasses sound right.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to give it, I was going to give it 8 glasses because I really liked it, and as somebody who does really watch a lot of Asian Asian-made drama and in Asian language, so I knew a lot of the cultural points and everything, and it felt so authentic, especially during this time where the representation is like, we need to see ourselves, but ourselves in stuff we make, so that you guys can see how we really are. That's what I'm watching a lot of stuff from all over the world, really, because I want to see things made by the people that are there in those languages and those cultures, instead of the whitewashed, Americanized, westernized way of the world
type. Yeah.
Let's just not talk about Mulan. So to me, I enjoyed all the jokes, and Jimmy O Yang did one of the voices.
I saw him in the credits.
Hilarious
I was like,
comedian,
oh my God.
And Ronnie Chang did the voice of the god.
Ah.
Yeah, so I was like, I loved all the people in it. It made me smile and it made me laugh. Like, it was a really funny movie. So I gave it 8 glasses because it was just really nice. I watched that mess again just because and just to laugh and be heartwarmed. That's the Family Guy theme when they want to act all.
It is.
All right, y'all. So that is our review of Wish Dragon. You got a 7 monocle and an 8 monocle, or 7.5. What did you say?
I gave it 7 monocle. No. 7 glasses.
My bad. 7 glasses, and you got 8 glasses, and that averages out to a really good movie.
That's right. That averages out to 7 glasses and a monocle.
All right, y'all. So please go watch Wish Dragon
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, and so we are now going to blurt it out. Blurt it out. Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use, and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerd family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled CAPSHUN. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.